All right, here we go. Question number 24 from our 0314 homework number 4 in MyLab Math. And the instructions say multiply and simplify. All right, so instead of multiplying these fractions together, doing the FOIL method and making a big mess, what we're going to do is we're going to do factor and cancel. Okay, so the two steps here. First step is we're going to factor every numerator and denominator that can be factored. And then step number 2 is we're going to cancel any common factors from the numerator and denominator. Okay, so that is the two-step process we're going to go through to get these fractions reduced and then multiplied. Here we go. The first thing I notice is that the very first numerator is the difference of two squares. And so we're going to factor that like we factor the difference of squares. So we start with parentheses. Difference of squares always has different signs. And then we fill in the blanks. Z times Z makes Z squared. 7 times 7 makes 49. So there's the difference of two squares factored. The next thing in the denominator, this is a monomial. Normally people would say, well, you can't factor a monomial, but I am going to break this down and you'll see why in a second, okay? Z squared, doesn't that mean Z times Z? Yes. Okay, so you agree Z times Z is Z squared. And again, you may be thinking, why are you doing that? Just wait a second, you'll see, okay? Now, times, got our fraction bar. And then, in this numerator, I notice that there are two terms, and both terms have a Z. So remember, when you're factoring, the very first thing you have to look for is GCF factoring. Is there a common factor? If there is, you have to take it out first. So we're going to factor out the Z, and that's going to leave me with Z minus 7. Again, if you distribute the Z in, you'll get this back. So this is factored correctly. And the very last thing that I notice that we have is a standard trinomial. So to factor a standard trinomial, you start with parentheses, and then you read the signs. A minus at the back means the signs are going to be different. And then we're going to fill in the blanks. Z times Z makes the Z squared. And I'm going to need numbers that multiply to make 70, that subtract and make 3. And I believe that is going to be 7 and 10. Okay, now check me. 10 times negative 7 makes negative 70. 10 minus 7 makes positive 3. And we did need a positive 3 there, okay? So now we've effed it all up. We factored it all up. Now we're going to go through and find anything that's the same top and bottom. And when I say anything, I mean any common factor, top or bottom, in either fraction, and we're going to reduce, okay? So the first thing I noticed, look, Z and Z. So now do you see why I broke those down as Z times Z? It's because this Z will cancel with this Z. Those are eliminated. All right, I also have a Z minus 7 and a Z minus 7 top and bottom. And if you're looking over here going, well, what about this Z minus 7? Well, I could cancel this one and the one in the bottom. The only thing you can't do is you can't cancel two that are the same in the top. It has to be 1 for 1, top and bottom. So I'm going to go with this guy and this guy. An eye for an eye, a factor for a factor, top and bottom. And there is no other factors that are the same top and bottom. And so now I've got my answer, okay? We've got Z plus 7 times Z minus 7. Those are the only factors left in the numerator. In the denominator, we have a Z and a Z plus 10. All right, so let's say it this way so I know you've heard it the way I normally present it in class. You're going to factor and cancel. Whatever's left is your answer, okay? Factor and cancel. Whatever's left is the answer. And so now we're going to input that and see if I lied to you. Here we go, parentheses. We've got x. Why did I put x? I just noticed I put an x there. Was anybody else freaking out about that when you saw me do it? That would have been a major malfunction. All right, here we go. So we've got z plus 7 and z minus 7. And in the denominator, z and z plus 10. If I input that correctly, fingers crossed, bam. Man, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.